What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Now that the Ryan Johansen for Seth Jones trade has happened, let's talk about what it means for the trade market going forward in terms of teams looking for, some skill up front and knowing that, one of the better young centers that was on the market is now off the market. You look at, I wrote it up a few months ago saying Eric Stahl from Carolina to Nashville. That trade was almost a no-brainer. That's obviously, in all likelihood, off the table. With Nashville acquiring Johansen. So, there's still going to be a market out there for Stahl. Anaheim definitely will be in on him. I think if he went to a team like the Ducks, got to go over and play the wing, I don't think he'd have an issue with that. In fact, I think a line of him, Getzlaf, and Perry would be very, very interesting and a great tribute to the awesome 2003 draft class. And I think, plenty of teams are going to be in kicking the tires on him, and I think New Jersey is going to be in the mix for him, and I think Montreal as well. I think the Habs. Someone talked about them being the front runner for Drouin right now, which we'll get to that in a second. They still need a veteran rental player, that big center to have down the stretch and in the playoffs. And I know the season hasn't gone the way the Habs wanted to, both between Carey Price's injury and ineffectiveness throughout the lineup at different times. So if they're in a position where they can get Stahl without giving up the A-list prospects. I mean, if McCarron or something like that was it's like no, Ron Francisco, screw yourself. You're not getting any of our best prospects. But if a first and a B-lister got the deal done, I think that'd 100% be worth it. But we'll see how that all shakes itself out in the next few weeks. But they're definitely going to be in the market for that number one center. The aforementioned Jonathan Drouin. So pretty much all the same teams in the running for him. I think Anaheim would love to add him and play him on the left wing with Perry and Getzlaf. You get a 20-year-old kid with that kind of offensive creativity that needs a fresh start on a team that could use a little spark. Be interesting. Definitely be interesting. But I think Tampa's got to hold Drouin's feet to the fire. And the whole Drouin to Montreal thing. The Lightning, I don't think will trade him in the division. I mean, here's the thing with Yzerman was when it looked like he had no options in the Marty St. Louis deal, he got 2 firsts and Ryan Callahan out of the New York Rangers. The only team St. Louis would accept a trade to, taking away all of Stevie Y's leverage. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, he still fleeced Glenn Sather, which it's like stealing candy from a baby. But I mean, hey, no offense to the great Mr. Sather, but. I think New Jersey's getting one of these forwards. I think the Devils are playing a lot better than they expected going into the season. And, they've got a really good group up there in Jersey. Corey Schneider's, I think, along with Brayton Holtby, one of the Vezina front runners. I think those two got to be your top two right now. And, I think you add a guy like a Drouin, to that young nucleus so they can simultaneously compete and build that group together. But I mean, if worst case scenario, if they're still in the thick of it come trade deadline time, why not go for Eric Stahl? It's something to think about. But again, there's going to be a market for pretty much everyone. I think Nashville's going to take off and go on a little bit of a run. I think you look at the way Johansen's playmaking ability affects James Neal and Philip Forsberg. That's going to be pretty cool. And I talked about it last night when the deal went down. Mike Ribeiro and Mike Fisher, no offense to either one of them, neither one's that, crafty, playmaker that Johansen is with that size and, finesse and power in his game. Like, he can do it all. And playing for a coach like Laviolette's really going to elevate his game. So, again, there's going to be some markets out there. And, Minnesota's now looking for a center with, Koivu's injury. So that's... again, that's something else you got to keep your eye on. So there's just so much shit going on right now in the NHL, and there's more trades to be made, more names going to be on the move, and it's going to be, I think yesterday kind of opened the floodgates up. If I'm a GM, I'm doing what Brian Burke's whole MO was, which was get the deals out of the way before the deadline. Don't go into the auction on, what's March 3rd this year? I don't have it written down in front of me. With your money out, get the deal done ahead of time and go from there. But we'll see how it all shakes up. Definitely an interesting situation in this year's National Hockey League. Anyway, that's like an episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes of the season and beyond. Later, guys.